it's easy. This is easy to do this. It's easy. Before you can become your new self, you have to know who you are right now. And that means being brutally honest. That means being truthful. If it's a belief that makes you feel bad or makes you feel like just stressed or it's a weight, then that is not a true belief. Hi, you what? It's your girl Connie, and you are back watching another episode of A Free Mind, where we take back the control of our minds and our realities. And to all my new free minders, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that way you're ready to tap in when it's time to tap in. And to all my free minders that have been here, I love y'all and I thank y'all so much, and I love all y'all support. Now, we're going to get straight into the episode. Some people might think that it's difficult to be their higher selves, to just simply be our higher selves, right? And so I want to kind of explain why you think it's difficult when in all actuality, it's not difficult, right? Anything that is difficult is not true. Anything that is hard or difficult, or it just seems like you have to put so much work into it, that is not your truth. So I just wanted to explain like how that actually works in connection to the universe and how the universe works and how the universe looks at that and how it perceives it and then creates that reality that you actually do not desire. So you have to kind of look at your old self and look at your new self. For me personally, I think that making a list of all the beliefs of your old self, but then making a list of all the beliefs of your new self. It's kind of like if you ever watched Why Did I Get Married, Tyler Perry, when Janet was telling the two girls to make a good and a bad list. It's something like that. So you want to make a list where you're able to physically see with your eyes by writing it down the beliefs and the actions of your old self versus the beliefs and the actions of your new self. I should have got some water. Because, baby, I'm thirsty. Now, your old self, you are familiar with that. You're familiar with your old self. Why? Because you've experienced being your old self in this moment now and in the past, even though the past is an illusion, right? Which we might get to that later, we might not. But your old self is something that you are familiar with. It is known to you. So you think that this old self is your safest place to be, right? Because your new self is unknown. It seems scary. It seems like it's like you just don't have an idea of what that would feel like as far as in if it's safe or if it's not safe or if it's scary or if it's not scary or if it's just a mixture of emotions because you don't know what that is because you have not yet been it. If you get where I'm trying to go. So like with your new self or your new self and your old self, one is unknown and one is known. And so with your old self being known, it's a lot more easier for you to exude your old self because you know how to do it. It's like it's so known that you unconsciously just be your old self. You don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? When it comes to being your new self or your higher self or this new character for this specific desired reality, since it's so unknown, you have to think. You have to constantly, you want to think about, okay, well, does this new self do this? Or does this new self believe that? Or does this new self, you just have to act. You're asking yourself all these different questions instead of just flowing, being in a flow state or just being in that state of the new self. So I think what's good to do is to create this list of the old self and the new self. And why some people may think that it is hard to be your new self is because you have to look at the foundation of how you're building your new self, right? You're building your new self on the idea that it is hard to be this, or that it is difficult, or that certain tasks or certain actions that you have to take are difficult. And so how the universe looks at that and how it brings it back to you, it says, okay, well, if you're going to sit here and say that to be your new self is hard, then the universe says, okay, well, I'm going to give you just that. I've said before that, your universe is your genie. So whatever you're asking for, and you're asking in this sense by your emotions about how you feel about it, about how you feel like something's hard to do or to be, then the universe is going to say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to amplify that being your reality. I'm going to amplify it being hard in your reality, so that way you see it as it's being hard. I'm going to see how I can put this another way. When building your new self, or not even building, but really you're supposed to just simply just be. It's supposed to be a flow. It's supposed to be natural. Okay, so think about who you were in high school and who you are now. Or if you are still in high school, then think about who you were in middle school to who you are now. And there was a transitional moment of you simply just being that next version of who you are right now. So whatever place you were in the way past, right? You naturally just became the person that you are now. So it's the same thing for seeing the old self, right? And then simply being the new self. Now, because you sometimes label in the definitions that you create next to this new self of, oh, well, to be this new self, it seems hard and it seems scary. You're only going to get that sort of restraint. So it's going to seem impossible for you to attract this newer self and this newer reality, because you're putting resistance to it by yourself, by simply just giving it that definition of, oh, this is hard. It's like, oh, if you are trying to figure out how to ride a bike, right? If your old self don't know how to ride a bike, but your new self wants to know how to ride a bike, when you're constantly saying, oh, it's hard to ride this bike, or it's so difficult riding this bike, then that's exactly what it will be. It will be difficult. It will be hard. But not a lot of times am I saying this from a space of you physically saying that it's hard, but it's the emotion that you are connecting to that intention that's saying this is hard. If you feel anxiety, or you feel some sort of a fear, or like you just want to just do it and get it over with, that's not the correct vibration or frequency or emotion to be in when trying to transition into that new thing, because then the universe is going to say, okay, well, since you think it's hard, I'm going to show you it's hard. You know how your mama used to be like, oh, you want to cry? I'm going to give you something to cry about. That's how the universe is. You know what I mean? So it's like, change the definition of how you, or change the definition of what you associate to that desire, or to that intention, or to your new self. In order to do that, you have to combat the negative doubts or the negative thoughts, or also looking at that list that you create and simply saying, okay, well, what's so great about creating this list is you'll see, okay, on the list, it says this old self believes that it is hard to do X, Y, and Z, or it is hard to be X, Y, and Z. The new belief for the new person is that it's easy. This is easy to do this. It's easy to articulate myself when I'm on camera. It's easy to just flow with my words. It's easy to get my words out of my head and put it out for you guys to listen to and understand and comprehend what I'm saying. It is easy to flow in that state, right? And then so looking at all those old beliefs and the old you, you're able to then pinpoint what it is that you do not really want to believe. You know, like what it is your new self truly does not believe. If And how to know if it's not a belief that you really need or that is truthful, not say you need, but a belief that is truthful. If it is something that makes you feel bad, if it's a belief that makes you feel bad or makes you feel like just stress or it's a weight, then that is not a true belief. The new you, the real you, any of those beliefs are going to be easy. They're going to be weightless. You're not going to feel them because it's not going to weigh you down. If you get what I'm saying, it's like it's easy. It's all of this is just easy. It's all it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be hard. But when we have all these different people and we're all talking about the same thing, or we're all trying to learn about how this stuff works, it becomes to the mind complicated because it's not something that the mind is supposed to be thinking about, or supposed to be fixated on. We're supposed to just simply be. You know what I mean? Like, we're just supposed to be. In other words, we literally need to die to our old selves and live to our new selves. And what that simply means is everything that's on the list of your old self, your old beliefs, let that version of you completely die. Let it die. Let it die. When I say let it die, I mean that means the actions of that old self, the beliefs of that old self, the emotions that old self constantly felt. Even if you need to start going a different route to work, if you really get what I mean, everything about that old self needs to die. It has to go, because you can't straddle the fence. You can't be like, okay, well, I know my higher self doesn't eat this specific type of food, but for the time being, I'm gonna just eat it for a little while and hope that I can somehow trick my way into becoming my new self or my higher self or this new character that has this desired reality. You can't trick your way into it. You cannot straddle the fence. You have to pick a side. Either you're going to be with the old self or you're going to switch to the new self. Live to the new self. Die to one, live to another. And what that looks like is understanding, really getting to know you. Before you can become your new self, you have to know who you are right now. And that means being brutally honest. That means being truthful. And a lot of times we have this resistance because we're not truthful with ourselves, or because we can't be accountable, or because we can't say, oh, well, dang, I probably do that, or I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I do it. Or, you know what, I really feel this way because I'm jealous, or I really feel this way because I'm angry. You don't got to be truthful with nobody else. You ain't got to be truthful with nobody else but you. And that's how it's like a crackhead or an alcoholic. The first step to recovery is by admitting it. The first step to flowing into your new self or living into your new self is by owning up to the old self. I don't know if y'all with me right now. What? I'm over here saying the word, okay? I'm saying a word right now. And by living to your new self, your actions have to change. What you do on a day-to-day basis has to change. Your daily habits have to change. And not is it so much you need to constantly think about this. It's just a simple looking at the list. And you know what? Not even just writing down on the list beliefs, but actions that you do. Actions that you take as the old self. And actions that your new self will take. Writing that down too, because that's also very important, because then you don't need to think so much on, okay, how do I become my new self? How do I live to the new? How do I die to the old? How do I do this? How do I do that? All of that, like trying to wrap your mind around it, is not what we are like really made or capable to do. It's simply start changing certain actions. And in changing those actions, feel, right? It's like taking excited actions. Taking actions that actually make you feel joyful. Like, not that make you feel joyful, but be joyful to make that action. Be happy to make that action. Be in a state of love when you make that action. Because when you are in that state, you're telling the universe, this is what I'm putting my attention and my energy on. I'm magnifying this new self to the universe. I'm happy about it. This is the most powerful frequency that I'm permitting out into the universe. I want to see this back to me. That's what you're telling the universe. And then the universe then starts to show you that in little ways. Or you might have a moment of like, you might wake up one moment and be like, dang, hold on, wait. I really am my new self. I don't do what's on that list no more. It's like you'll be able to go back to that list and look at it and be like, well, you know what? I actually don't do this no more. I don't do that. Or I don't believe that no more. Or and really truly feel it and actually like be like, okay, I really don't feel that way no more. Like I truly don't act like that. It's about your emotions, like being excited, being happy, being joyful, and just simply being. So associate to whatever it is that you need to do to being your higher self or being that character that has that desired specific reality. Associate that, the definition, with that, with doing that, or with being that, with something positive. Not with something that's like, oh, this is hard or this is difficult. Or you know how people say it takes a lot of hard work to get to the top. It shouldn't take hard work. It should be with ease. And if it does take hard work, kudos to you for putting in all that hard work. I'm not going to discredit you for it, okay, baby? But it shouldn't be hard, difficult. Like, I really had to have a moment of, like, talking to myself and being like, well, it's only hard because I'm saying it's hard. It's only difficult because I'm saying it's difficult. But I'm going to go ahead and just stop saying that. And I'm like, you know what? It's actually easy to do this. It's easy to be that. It's easy. It comes so easily to me to just simply be that or to do that. And how you can also combat these negative thoughts or doubts is by being truthful and being honest. Because the negative doubts and the negative thoughts are actually lies. How can you not be confident in something, but you're so confident in the fact that you're not confident? It's like the beliefs aren't even real. The beliefs aren't even truthful. They're lies. So it's like you have to literally turn it around. So if you say, I'm just not a confident person, you say to yourself, well, I actually am confident because I'm confident enough that I'm not confident. That's confidence. Or I don't know how to articulate myself well. Well, I just articulated that I don't know how to articulate myself well. I just articulated how I felt, right? Or I think doing X, Y, and Z is hard. Well, it's actually not hard because I'm doing it right now. You know what I mean? So you have to like literally flip around those doubts into a positive by literally stating exactly what you said, but making it positive, if you get what I mean. But okay, that's all I got for y'all today. That's all I got for you today, baby. Okay, so if you have made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to know if you want to be, because I want to know if you watched it all the way to the end, if you want to be your new you, if you're going to flow easily into the new you, live to the new you, type in the comments, live to your newest self. Live to your newest self. Type that in the comments. Let me know. And also tell me, what are you going to start saying no to? Whatever you can't say no to controls you. So start saying no to that old you. Die to the old you. Live to the new you. Die to the old you. And also, if you guys do not know, I have linked in the description an email. I want you guys to start emailing in any questions that you guys have and that you want answered on the show. So that way I can connect with y'all, give y'all the best advice that I have to give. I'm telling you right now, people love my advice. Like my friends and everybody that's in my like actual life, they love when I give them advice because I'm just so like, I'm so positive and I'm so uplifting and I'm so optimistic. And I can really like put you on. So if you have any questions, make sure to email the link in the description and title the subject questions. And I will see y'all next time.